We're nearing the end of 2023. Which EVs are the ones to keep an eye on in the EV market? A few months ago, I made a video comparing two-wheel drive and all-wheel drive EVs and compared them around a bunch of different metrics. This time, I'm just going to be looking at what I think the best deals are at the end of 2023. And no discussion about what the best deals are on an EV is complete without bringing up the elephant in the room, which is Tesla. Right now, the prices on Model 3s are at like $38,990 for a rear-wheel drive and $45,990 for the all-wheel drive long range. That's a difference of 272 miles for the rear-wheel drive and 333 for the long range. And right now they're eligible for the full $7,500 tax credit, but the Tesla website on Model 3s and Model Ys says that they're expecting their tax credit to drop to $3,750 as soon as 2024 starts. The Model Ys right now are at $43,990 for the rear-wheel drive. That wonderful standard range all-wheel drive Model Y is gone, and now it's a standard range two-wheel drive Model Y that's a little bit cheaper, but it's only $5,000 cheaper than the all-wheel drive long-range Model Y, which you get dual motor, faster acceleration, 330 miles of estimated range compared to 260, even though Tesla does have a tendency to overpromise their range. No discussion is complete without those deals. You can probably find some in existing inventory that are going to knock $1,000 or $2,000 maybe off of the price of that Tesla, but you've got to consider that if you're considering a new EV. Now let's talk about the truly budget EVs. You have to acknowledge this car here. The Bolt EV still exists with an MSRP of $26,595 and 869 of them still available nationwide if you on cars.com if you're willing to look. But still, because of their limited numbers, Chevy dealerships aren't necessarily discounting the Bolts from that MSRP of $26,595. Best price I could find was $25,095. So not much of a discount, but still eligible for the $7,500 tax credit, at least until the end of 2023. Who knows what that tax credit's going to do in January? Well, somebody does, but it isn't me. I don't know. Something's going to change. Then there is the Bolt's relative, the Bolt EUV, and there are a lot more of those. There are 2,509 of them listed nationwide on cars.com, and at an MSRP of $28,795. This one here can be had for $26,795. Again, not much of a discount, but more of a discount on the EUV compared to MSRP than it was on the EV. But surprise of all surprise, the budget is back in competition because now we've got the Nissan Leaf S being substantially discounted by Nissan and Nissan dealers. The Nissan Leaf doesn't qualify for the tax credit, so they're making up for it. There are currently 1,620 brand new Nissan Leafs available for sale on cars.com. Their MSRP is $29,885, which is more than the Bolt, and it doesn't qualify for the tax credit. But this dealership right here is discounting this car to $20,885. That is a $9,000 discount to make up for the difference, puts it right in line with the Bolt EUV and really close to the Bolt EV. So if you're looking for an EV and you're on a tight budget, those are your three options. The next batch of EVs that I want to talk about are the larger crossover vehicle segments that can be had with all-wheel drive or can just be had with rear-wheel drive. And there are 5 of those vehicles that I just want to point out to you. First off, if we start with the Volkswagen ID.4, it's got an MSRP at this one listing here of $40,290. discounted down to $29,982. Now, sometimes these dealerships include the federal tax credit in that price, and this one might be doing that. But the Volkswagen ID.4 is currently eligible for that full $1,500 credit because they build them in Chattanooga, Tennessee, the ones that are for sale in the United States. If we move on to the other legacy automaker with the tax credit available to them, that's Ford. You've got the Mustang Mach-e with an MSRP of $45,235. This one listed for $37,995. That's a big discount. Again, it might include the $3,750 tax credit that the Mach-e currently qualifies for. And again, those tax credits could go down or go away or whatever, or stay the same once we hit January. But there's those vehicles there. However, if you're looking for a crossover, the Mach-e is not rated to tow in the United States, even though it's rated to tow in Europe, same exact car, but it's not rated to tow in the US. If you've got a crossover, you might want to tow something with it. Mach-e might not be the way to go. But then you've got to look at the cars that don't have the tax credit, that are making up for it just by discounts from the manufacturer and from the dealer. You've got the Hyundai Ioniq 6. This one is an SEL trim level with an MSRP of $49,025. After dealer discounts and manufacturer incentives, this listing is showing it at $35,500. The Ioniq 6 is a beautiful car, beautiful interior. Its sleek aerodynamics give it amazing efficiency numbers, which give it some pretty good range. Then its brother, the Hyundai Ioniq 5. Now the Ioniq 5 can tow. The Ioniq 6, from what I've read, cannot. I could be wrong, but if I'm wrong, put it in the comments and I'll correct it on another video. If I'm wrong and you correct me in the comments and I back that up, it kind of brings the Ioniq 6 back up into consideration for me. But the Ioniq 5 can tow, and by all accounts, great car, and all of these Hyundais and the Kia siblings can charge super fast. So they'll be great for road trips as long as you've got a reliable network that you can go use that handles the CCS. This Ioniq 5 in the SE base model standard range has an MSRP of $43,620 and is listed here for $32,987. Now, if you step up to the mid-spec level, get some more equipment with the SEL, you're looking at an MSRP of $50,390 and in this listing of $35,500. Then there's the Hyundai Ioniq 5's cousin, the Kia EV6, which in a light trim is $44,270 and in this dealership listing it at $36,247. And then the all-wheel drive Wind, the mid-spec, which has even a little bit more equipment on it than the Hyundai Ioniq 5 SEL, $51,350, with this dealer listing it at $39,959 for a brand new 2024. Now this includes manufacturer discounts, rebates, dealer discounts, and all of that to make up for the fact that the Hyundais and the Kia don't get any federal tax credit right now, and they're trying to get them to move. How well is that working out? Well, according to cars.com, there are currently 2,862 Kia EV6s available, 3,324 Ioniq 6s, 4,340 Ioniq 5s, 6,448 Volkswagen ID4s, and get ready, 14,603 Mustang Mach-e's. There are a lot of Mach-e's out there comparatively sitting on dealer lots. You might be able to get a deal better than what's being advertised on cars.com just because of that excess inventory. Now, for my personal opinion on the Ioniq 5 and the EV6, those vehicles check all of the boxes for me. They can tow, they're available in all-wheel drive, they have good power and performance numbers, they're comfortable, and they have good pricing going on them. But I give the edge to the Kia EV6 if I was in the market to get a new EV for myself. That's the one that it would be, because it gets better efficiency than the Ioniq 5 because of its aerodynamics. And I just like this. I like the center console better in the EV6 than on the Ioniq 5. The floating island in the Ioniq 5 looks weird to me. It makes no sense. I understand, but I kind of prefer the EV6. I had bad experiences owning a Hyundai. I owned a 1988 Excel GLS way back in 1988. And Hyundai at that time had a deservedly bad reputation, but apparently their reputation has gotten better. Same with Kia. And so those are cars that I'm personally watching. And let's move on. So now let me talk trucks. The Rivian R1T is a great truck. It's a beautiful truck. It's a wonderful piece of machinery, way out of my budget or anybody really kind of like me, and I want to focus on the more budget-friendly EVs. Tesla Cybertruck, well, we saw one in person at Electrify Expo. We hear that they're coming around to service centers for people to watch them. But the only truck that really is out there for EVs is the Ford F-150 Lightning that's got a halfway decent price on it. And I'm going to speak directly about 3 trim levels. Now in total, there are 6,183 F-150 Lightnings available on cars.com. Now some of those are going to be Platinums in the new trim line of Flash. But if we start at the base trim of the F-150 Lightning Pro, then we're looking at an MSRP of $53,690, and this dealer listing it at $48,700. Isn't it refreshing to see dealerships discounting Lightnings instead of marking them up? There are currently 682 Pros, F-150 Lightning Pros listed on cars.com. Next step up is the XLT, of which there are 2,716 sitting on dealer lots according to cars.com. This dealership has one with an MSRP of $57,490 and an advertised price of $50,816. That is less than $2,000 more than the Pro, and that's a considerable amount more equipment, heated seats, cloth seats, leather-wrapped steering wheel. To me, and that's not all you get with the XLT over the Pro, to me that makes the XLT the more obvious budget-friendly decision. Right now, Ford has a $1,500 incentive on the XLT, but wait, they've got a $7,500 incentive on the Lariat. And the Lariat, there are 1,433 of them sitting around, and the Lariat Extended Range XLT, the $80,000 truck at launch, was the one that everybody seemed to be going for, but the Lariat Standard Range, I mean, why spend that much money? You're only going to get 230 miles of range on it. Well, check this out. With that incentive, plus dealer discounts, here's a Lariat with an MSRP of $74,729. Ooh, huge. But $55,802 is what this dealer is listing it for. That's $7,000 more than a Pro. That's a Lariat to a Pro. You're getting all of the upgraded interior, the leather, the Blue Cruise, the lots more stuff, the moonroof. Just the list keeps on going. This used to be an almost $30,000 gap, and now it's down to $5,000. And I think with the inventory of Lightnings continuing to go up, sitting on dealer lots, that between, and it being the end of the model year, between Ford and the dealers and these EVs sitting on their lots, and if you watched our What Dealers Need to Do to Fix That video, you'll see where our thoughts are on it. But right now I think that the deals on the F-150 Lightnings are going to get better as this year comes to a close and as 2024 starts, especially if you can find a 2023 model year sitting on the lot. Those are the EVs that I would recommend that you keep an eye on in the market right now at the end of 2023. I'll update again in about 3 months as we start 2024. Thank you very much for watching. If you found this video informative, give it a like. If you have questions, comments, concerns, say so in the comments. An EV that you think I should add to the list, tell me in the comments and I'll put it in on the next one. You'll find our socials down in the description, and thanks again.